From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Jason White. Police say they've arrested 2 men in last week's Old Montreal fire that killed a mother and young daughter. Inspector David Shane says the 20-year-old is suspected of throwing an incendiary device into the building, while the 18-year-old suspect is accused of being the getaway driver.
From the first hour, we mobilized a lot of investigative personnel to conduct the criminal investigation, and the way we're used to work with the Montreal Fire Department as well to hand over the case from their part to ours was very effective.
But police say they know someone else ordered the building set ablaze, and they want to find out who that is. Former Public Safety Minister Bill Blair says he didn't feel conflicted about approving a delayed spy service warrant in 2021 that may have touched on the Liberal government. Blair told the Federal Foreign Meddling Inquiry he simply didn't know it existed any sooner. The warrant was approved 54 days after CSIS requested it. The usual turnaround time was 4 to 10 days. Health Minister Mark Holland says he hopes to have provinces and territories on board with pharmacare deals by next spring. Canada's pharmacare bill received royal assent yesterday. Speaking at a joint session of G7 ministers in Italy, Health Minister Mark Holland called it a historic day.
There's going to be a day when Canadians look back and find it unimaginable that people who needed access to essential medication didn't have it. We're not there yet, but today is an absolutely essential step in that journey.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says provinces and territories need to start negotiating pharmacare deals as soon as possible. Saskatchewan's NDP leader has released her platform, taking aim at the former government for mismanaged boondoggles.
Along with plans to address healthcare, schools, and affordability, Carla Beck also vowed to launch an accountability commission. It would investigate cost overruns for Saskatchewan Party projects in response to the Sask Party criticizing the NDP for not being forthright with its finances. Meanwhile, party leader Scott Moe promising to keep the small business tax at 1% and introduce a bursary program for young entrepreneurs. Election Day is set for October 28th. Aaron Sousa, The Canadian Press.
Wastewater samples in Halifax show almost twice as much cannabis metabolites as Canada's other big cities. Psychiatrist and Dalhousie University professor Dr. Phil Thibault says he believes the high rate may be because of a long-standing cultural acceptance of cannabis in the Nova Scotia capital. The Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur starts at sundown tonight, with many Jews worldwide marking it by fasting and prayer at synagogues. Yom Kippur is the Day of Atonement and the holiest day of the year in the Jewish faith, capping off the high holy days that began with Rosh Hashanah on October 2nd. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and Toronto Argonauts face off tonight in CFL action for the first time since July 27th. That's when the Argos handed Winnipeg its last loss. The Bombers are now on an 8-game winning streak and can clinch first in the West with a 9th straight victory. But a win or tie for Toronto would secure them an East Division playoff spot and eliminate Hamilton from contention. In the NHL, the Winnipeg Jets host the Chicago Blackhawks tonight. The Vancouver Canucks host the Philadelphia Flyers. NBA preseason action has the Toronto Raptors in Washington tonight. It's the second game of the home-and-home series, with the Raptors winning in Montreal last Friday. And it's win or go home tonight in the National League Division Series. The San Diego Padres are in Los Angeles facing the Dodgers in a decisive Game 5 to determine who moves on to the NL Championship Series to face the New York Mets. From the Canadian Press, I'm Jason White.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.